staple through all these papers.
It wasn't easy, I'll tell you.
I was taking like a drill press and maybe some pliers. I don't know.
Something like that, yes. Okay, we are streaming live and ready to go.
Thank you, Sally. With that, we'll go ahead and call the October 21st, 2020 APC Public
This
Meeting
conference will now be recorded.
to order. The first item on the agenda is roll call. Zach, please.
All right, when I call your name, please signify your presence. Jackson Bogan.
Here.
Barry Leverins.
Here.
Ron Winger.
Here.
Gary Schroeder. Here. Jerry Reynolds.
Here.
Greg Jones.
Here.
Jake Gray.
Here.
Diana Looper. Diana, I think I heard you.
Yeah, she's right next to me and she's here.
Michelle Dennis.
Here.
Vicki Pearl. Absent. Tom Murtaugh. Harry Brown.
Here.
Tracy Brown.
Here.
Carl Griffin.
I'm here.
Kathy Parker.
Here.
Carla Snodgrass.
Here.
Lisa Dellum.
Here.
We have 16 members here tonight, and we do have a quorum.
Thank you. On to the briefing session.
The only thing to report is that all cases are ready to be heard, with the exception of the two continuances that are noted for Z2807 Jetboy LLC, general business to I3. That needs to be continued. Petitioner would like to file a commitment. And Z2808 also continue to the November 18 APC meeting for Stephen McIntyre, neighborhood business to R1. He acknowledged that he did not prepay his legal ad in the Journal Courier, so it was not published, and it will be published for the next meeting.
Thank you. Do we need a motion at this point in time, or does that come later? That comes later. On to the approval of the minutes.
I move to approve the minutes from the September 16th, 2020 meeting as submitted.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries. New business.
I move to hear and approve Resolution 2020-05.
I second.
Sally?
Yes, as soon as Kathy moves the presentation, there we go. This is the property included in the resolution, which is an amendment to add a project to the economic development plan for the consolidated Creasy Central Economic Development Area in TIF. As you know, this is on the south side of Columbia Street, just across 6th from the Lafayette City Hall, and is the city's surface parking lot. They are asking to add to the plan, the economic development plan, 65,000 square foot multi-story municipal police station, along with a new parking garage that would have between 500 and 600 parking spaces. Approximately 150 of those would be reserved for the police department, and the remaining would be used by city employees and available to the public. The redevelopment commission has been through its process so far. So now it is to the plan commission for an order that the project conforms to the adopted comprehensive plan for Tippecanoe County, specifically the portion applicable to the city of Lafayette. So you are voting tonight on Resolution 2020-05, which if approved would become your written order to the Lafayette Redevelopment Commission regarding this project and its inclusion in the economic development plan. The property is already owned by the Lafayette Redevelopment Authority, and bonds in the amount of about $45 million would be issued for the construction of this project. Regarding the comprehensive plan, the urban area portion of the adopted land use plan recommends a more compact downtown with major retail facilities and residential infill and intensification. Removing this surface parking lot, creating this multi-story municipal building and parking garage on the site would in fact help create that more compact downtown with infill. One of the major benefits to this project is getting rid of a highly inefficient surface parking lot and creating this nice public infill project. So staff is satisfied that the project amendment to the Consolidated Creasy Central Economic Development Plan conforms to the adopted comprehensive plan, and staff recommends approval.
Thank you, Sally. Do we have any questions from the commission or comments? Hearing none, do we have any comments or questions from citizens? And Sally will wait that 1 minute.
I don't know if Dennis Carson, I believe, is on GoToMeeting. You might ask if he has anything else he would like to add.
Thank you. Dennis?
Yes, this is Dennis Carson, Economic Development Director for the City of Lafayette. I think Sally explained it very well, so I'm here if you have any particular questions.
Thank you, Mr. Carson.
And I started the timing.
While we're waiting, remember this is Resolution 2020-05 in the email from China, and we'll need to vote on this particular item.
I believe we've waited a minute. We'll see if there's any comment.
We have no public comment on either platform right now.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you, Zach. Would you please call for the vote?
When I call your name, please signify your vote by saying approve or deny. Jackson Bogan.
Approve.
Larry Leverins.
Approve.
Roland Winger.
Approve.
Gary Schroeder.
Approve.
Gary Reynolds.
Approved.
Greg Jones. Greg, we lose him.
I'm sorry, approve.
Thank you. Jake Gray.
Approve.
Diana Looper. And I think that was an approve. Michelle Dennis.
Approve.
Tom Murtaugh.
Approve.
Perry Brown.
Approve.
Tracy Brown.
Approve.
Carl Griffin.
I approve.
Lisa Dellum.
Approve.
Kathy Parker,
Approve.
Carla Snodgrass.
Approve.
All votes in favor. If you could please send your ballots to Rabita, and Rabita, let us know when you get everything.
Will do. I've received written ballots from each of the members who voted and confirm roll call vote of 16 to approve, 0 to deny.
Thank you, Rabita. On to Resolution 2020-06.
I move to hear and approve Resolution 2020-06.
I second.
Ryan?
Okay, well, what we have here is a little bit of cleanup work in the form of the addition of a new fee. This is regarding zoning compliance plan submissions for form-based overlays. This was originally laid down in 2016 when Chapter 7 was created in the UZO, and the Centennial Neighborhood subsection was also added. The zoning compliance plan is essentially a part of the overall permitting process. It comes towards the end when we're just doing a zoning review. Form-based overlays have, depending on the neighborhood, will have a lot of specific information for staff to check. And so there's some staff time involved in being able to make a recommendation to the administrative officer that this proposal meets the form-based code in the zoning ordinance. This isn't a PD. These aren't a negotiated item. This is simply, do they meet the requirements of that neighborhood? Presently, we have the historic Centennial neighborhood in place. We will be voting on today the addition of Discovery Park over in West Lafayette. So this fee is something that was actually already referenced in the ordinance. We just left it out. I think it was just an oversight at the time because there was a lot going on at that time as we were pulling all this together. And so this one little line item needs to be put in. And we're using the same base fee that we use for subdivisions, variance cases, rezones. It's a flat $500 fee. Obviously, it doesn't cover all of staff time, but it makes a reasonable contribution in staff's opinion. Also, as you'll see on the schedule there, we're adding back in something that again was left out probably by oversight. The term rural estate, which obviously is a zone, it's a form of subdivision, and it was always included as a major sketch as it's shown in there. It's just, I guess it got caught in the crossfire when we last did the big update in 2013. To the fee schedule, and so we wanted to put that back in there so there's some clarity and also some connection with the reference in the Unified Subdivision Ordinance that speaks to this particular fee. So now that connection will be made. So this is essentially just a correction. That's all I've got for you. I'd be happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, recommend approval of Resolution 2020-06.
Thank you, Ryan. Any questions from the commission? All right, we'll give a 1-minute pause for citizens' comments. Sally, if you would, please.
It started. Time has passed.
Thank
And,
you.
we have no comment on this item.
Zach?
When I call your name, please signify your vote with approve or deny. Jackson Bogan,
Approve.
Larry Leverins,
Approve.
Roland Winger,
Approve.
Gary Schroeder,
Approve.
Jerry Reynolds,
Approved.
Greg Jones,
Approve.
Jake Gray,
Approve.
Diana Looper, Diana,
She was an approve.
Michelle Dennis,
Approve.
Tom Murtaugh, Harry Brown,
Approve.
Tracy Brown,
Approve.
Carl Griffin,
Approve.
Lisa Dullum,
Approve.
Kathy Parker,
Approve.
Carla Snodgrass.
Approve.
16 votes in favor. Please get your ballots, and Rebecca, let us know when you.
I received written ballots from each of the members who voted and confirm the roll call vote of 16 to approve, 0 to deny.
Thank you, Rebecca. Resolution 2020-07.
I move to hear and approve Resolution 2020-07.
I second.
Kathy?
Okay, so we would like to amend our bylaws by changing our notice of public hearing form. So the notice of public hearing on rezoning and on subdivisions is a form that we use to put legal ads in our newspapers. Currently, the notice for subdivisions requires a lengthy meets and bounds legal description. Although according to Zach, we don't necessarily need to do that by state statute. So what we would like to do is just shorten that and just have civil township, section, quarter section, township, range on our legal description, legal ads, instead of the lengthy legal description. One positive thing about doing this would be it'll save our petitioners money. The cost of legal ads is based on the length of the legal ad itself. So, so hopefully this will save some money for our petitioners. And staff is recommending approval of Resolution 2020-07.
Thank you, Kathy. I'm sure the petitioners will like that. Any questions from the commission?
Do we think that this is going to be a problem at all for people who use the ad?
I'm sorry, for people who what?
Well, I mean, we're giving them less information than we did before. Do we think that's going to be a problem at all, or I'm just?
We're taking away we're taking away the formal legal description, which almost no one in the public is going to understand at all. Meets and bounds descriptions are used almost exclusively by surveyors and attorneys. The average
Okay.
person who reads it is not going to have any idea. We're still going to have addresses in there. This is just to help take away something that's not needed and actually will make things probably cleaner and easier to recognize for the public if they just see the address instead of a big long legal description of a property they won't understand.
Okay, thanks for confirming. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Sally, if you would start the clock for citizen comment, please.
It started.
Yes, I would. My name is Bob Gross, and I would like to speak to this.
Please,
I
Mr.
think
Gross.
Hi.
And for the record, can we get your name and address for the record, please?
Oh, yes. R.W. Gross and Associates, 420 Columbia Street. I'm all for this. The only thing I could see is if we have property that has no address, such as, vacant ground, that we should include maybe the tax key number, the state tax key number. That way people could at least look it up online. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Gross. Kathy, do you want to speak to that idea?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, although in addition to the address, it does ask for a brief location description. So if there's no address for the property, they would still have to say where it's located and also give the acreage. But yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea.
Are we able to, every property has a tax ID, correct?
Correct.
Are we able to amend this resolution on the fly, or do we have to send it back and then send it back, or can we amend it with the tax ID to this?
I don't think there's a necessary requirement. Remember, this is a form that we are providing to our petitioners. So in the situation that Bob brought up, the petitioner is going to have to describe the property somehow. And if they don't have a physical address, the next most likely would be to use a tax ID or a key parcel number, and then actually try and describe it. It's located in a certain area, so many miles away from something else. They could certainly still use the legal if they wanted to. But remember that we're just amending our own forms right now. And this is something that has come up fairly often, in part because of some changes we've seen from the Lafayette leader in trying to publish notices. And I think from Kathy and staff's perspective, it will be helpful if we move forward on this. If there's a situation where a property doesn't have a physical address, then of course the petitioner is going to have to try and describe it somehow. And I think the most likely outcome would be for them to put the tax ID number on there. If we amend it to add that as a requirement, again, we're adding steps that probably aren't necessary and may actually cause people to miss the address. Does that make sense?
Also, if there's no street address, we ask for a common description, which would be, say, County Road 200 North between County Road 300 East and 400 East, or the north side of County Road 100 North. That would be a common kind of description in a rural area.
Okay, so what I'm gathering by this, Zach, is we don't want to hold this up by adding the verbiage of tax ID under the address of, I'm thinking when I look at this on the screen, it says address of rezone site or brief location description. And my question is, and tax ID perhaps, but maybe we don't want to do that.
I think in the specific circumstance we're worried about, I think the interpretation of brief description probably means tax ID. Just because if there's no other way to describe it, the petitioner is going to have to put something in there along with what Sally said, that she's going to, in those situations, staff's going to tell petitioner, you got to describe it using this. and most likely the tax ID number.
Sounds good. And staff, the only thing I'll ask is if you notice this becomes an issue, if you could bring this back to us to request that we add tax ID to it as well later on. But let's wait and see if there's an issue. And Mr. Gross, thank you very much for the comments. Are there any other questions from commission members or comments?
And we're past the 1 minute mark, definitely. So we'll check in with Ryan.
Yeah,
Okay,
there are
Ryan.
no public comments on this item.
With that, we have a motion and a second. Zach, if you would, please.
All right, when I call your name, please signify your vote with approve or deny. Jackson Bogan.
Approve.
Larry Leverins.
Approve.
Roland Winger.
Approve.
Gary Schroeder.
Approve.
Jerry Reynolds.
Approved.
Greg Jones.
Approve.
Jake Gray.
Approve.
Diana Looper. I think
Approve.
she may be having, thank you. Vicky Pearl's absent. Michelle Dennis.
Approve.
Tom Murtaugh. Perry Brown.
Approve.
Tracy Brown.
Approve.
Carl Griffin.
Approve.
Lisa Dellum.
Approve.
Kathy Parker.
Approve.
Carla Snodgrass.
Approve.
16 votes in favor. Please get your ballots to Rabita and she will let us know when they are received.
I received written ballots from each of the members who voted and confirmed the roll call vote of 16 to approve, 0 to deny. I received 2 ballots from Carl. Both are in favor, so I will discard the first one.
Thank you, Rabita.
Mhm.
On to the public hearing section, whereby I get the pleasure of reading a statement by myself for the meeting procedures. For those of you unfamiliar with our procedures, the commission would like you to know the following. When we hear a request to subdivide land, we are only concerned as to whether the actual drawing showing the division into lots meets the technical requirements of our ordinance. The question of appropriateness has already been determined. Anyone wishing to make comments or provide us with the information regarding any subdivision petitions will be given the opportunity to do so. When we are hearing a request for a change in zoning, we are trying to determine if the new zone being requested and the uses allowed in that zone are appropriate for that property and supported by the comprehensive plan. With each case being heard, our staff will present its report. Then the person requesting the rezone will be given an opportunity to speak. Following that, those of you wishing to speak in favor of the rezone will be recognized, and those of you that wish to oppose it will have a turn. This will be your only time to speak. The person requesting the action will be allowed a rebuttal. Planning Commission members will then ask questions and finally vote. Please limit your statements to no more than 5 minutes, and we ask that you not repeat what others before you have already said. We are a 17-member body, and the majority of 17 is 9. Regardless of how many commission members are actually present, at least 9 votes in favor or 9 votes against are required for our action to be official. If fewer than 9 of us agree to either approve or disapprove the action, that cause must be heard again next month. Our vote on a request to subdivide is final. Our vote on a request to rezone serves as a recommendation to the appropriate city council, town council, or county commissioners, who must ultimately decide on changes in zoning. When addressing the commission, please state your name and address for the record. Cell phones must be turned off while the meeting is in session. If you do not make a call, or if you need to, please step out. All exhibits presented to the commission become the property of the commission. Gary?
I move that there be incorporated in the public hearing portion of each application be heard this evening and become part of the evidence at such hearing, the Unified Zoning Ordinance, the Unified Subdivision Ordinance, the Comprehensive Plan, the bylaws of the Area Plan Commission, the application and all documents filed therewith, the staff report and recommendations on the application be heard this evening and responses from checkpoint agencies.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? That carries.
I move to continue Z 2807, Jetboy LLC, GB to I3 and Z 2808, Stephen McIntyre, NB to R1 to the November 18th, 2020 Area Plan Commission meeting.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
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 All opposed? That carries. Ordinance amendments.
I move to hear and approve UZO Amendment number 98, Discovery Park District Overlay.
I second.
Mr. O'Gara?
Okay. Well, a couple of years ago, Plan Commission adopted the US 231 Corridor Plan, and part of that plan in its implementation strategies as well as its land use plan recommended to staff that they look at innovative type of zoning to further the plans of the Purdue Research Foundation and by extension the university. And so we've been in discussion, staff has been in discussions, both APC and city staff, with PRF now for some time, and we're finally bringing the results of these labors to you tonight. The first is this effort, the creation of a form-based overlay for the Discovery Park District, following what was laid down in Chapter 7, which I mentioned earlier tonight. And then the second strategy is a conventional rezone to the CBW zone for the area that you're seeing here, which will be later in the agenda. So let's see here. In addition, there's a little bit of cleanup work and some requests from the city of Lafayette we're wrapping into this UZO amendment. So there are some things that are outside of the Discovery Park issue, but that's obviously the main event. So as you can see here, this is the official boundary of the form-based overlay. So these rules for development only apply within this geographic boundary. And these boundaries follow, common property lines between PRF-owned property and its neighbor, the university, the trustee-owned land. So particularly along the eastern edge there, south of State Street, you'll see some gets a little jagged. That's just kind of how the property boundaries fall between the state-owned property and the PRF-owned property. So the university itself, its property is not part of this at all. They are excluded from this. That was by design. If at some point the university transfers, sells land to PRF, and it comes back on the tax roll, so to speak, we could amend this amendment, or I'm sorry, this amendment we're looking at right now, to include that land in the overlays. So, all zoning ordinances can be amended. And so this will be our first version 1.0, so to speak. But it encompasses this area south of State Street and east of Airport Road, north of 231. And then it includes the northeast and northwest intersections of State and McCormick. There are currently 3 planned developments within this area. While they're included in the overlay, they're not bound by it. Per Chapter 7, planned developments are exempt from form-based overlays because they are their own unique zone. So these PDs will continue to operate as they were originally approved. That would be Aspire, Continuum, and the Convergence office building. If PRF or future owner decides to create a new planned development within this area, they can. Again, they're exempt, and then they would just abide by the terms of that project. So let's go on to the next slide. So we just have, these are some slides from the code itself. You can go on to the next one. This shows townhouses. a general block building. You'll see there's references in here to setbacks, to building height, and so forth, and some other language. You know, I'm not going to go into it, but there's a lot of detail there. The other issues, as you go through the staff report, it lists the 5 sections of this ordinance amendment. The first one concerns definitions. We're creating some new definitions for commercial uses that we list in the report in your packet there. These came out of discussions with PRF for some fairly innovative sort of commercial operations they were contemplating for the Discovery Park District. And as we were reviewing them, we felt that they were quite applicable to virtually every sort of commercial and especially urban zones. And so we've made that extension. There you go. Why don't you go back to that last slide? Yeah. Kind of shows the chart there, but here's some of the changes. And so we've extended those to the commercial zones. We've also created a definition for the monument sign, which everybody kind of knows what it is, but it was never actually formally defined in the UZO. This effort in Discovery Park, we created one, and then as part of that effort said, well, why can't that apply to the whole community? And so we would pluck that out and put this into Chapter 1. So that's the definition section. There's also a little bit of cleanup work. We're deleting a definition for the term community gardens. This is something Lafayette had requested back when we did the historic centennial form-based overlay, and they have since decided to not regulate it that specifically per that definition. So they requested that be deleted. So we're accomplishing that. Section 2 is a fairly simple request from the city of Lafayette. It's to make it crystal clear that the CB zone is an exclusive zone to the city of Lafayette. As you know, the CBW zone is exclusive to West Lafayette. But when you read the intent section of the CB zone, it was not all that clear. It makes a general reference to the term cities, which kind of leads you to believe that CB could be allowed in a city, you know. So it's now functionally, this has never happened. We've never had a CB zone proposed anywhere but Lafayette. And its original intent was always meant to be that. It was Lafayette's central business zone, CB. So we've cleaned that up per the city's request to make it clear that it is exclusive to within the city limits of Lafayette. Section 3 amends the use table and adds some footnotes to assign these new definitions we've created for commercial uses to zones within the zoning ordinance. Also, we've added a mixed use option to the OR zone, which I think will provide some interesting combinations of uses in the research park where the bulk of the OR zoning currently is. But OR zoning is not exclusive to West Lafayette. It can be permitted in any of our localities. So this may provide some opportunities. Lafayette was particularly interested in this, and so we're following through with that. Section 4 is connected to the community gardens issue, which I mentioned before. And then Section 5 is the main event. That's the Discovery Park form-based overlay. It very much follows the format from the Historic Centennial District, but it is very specific to this area. We're creating a very urban, dense neighborhood in a fairly tightly compact space. And so we're not as concerned with historic architecture and other things because we are literally creating a neighborhood from scratch, so to speak. So if there's any questions about the details of that part, I'd be happy to answer them. But otherwise, that's a big, broad overview. I know we have members of PRF's team available to answer any questions as well. So with that, I'll step aside and just simply declare staff is recommending approval of UZO Amendment 98.
Thank you, Ryan. I believe we have Mr. Spitznagel here as well with us. Would you like to share anything or comment? And
this is
hello?
Chad.
Yeah, there you are.
Thanks. I do not have anything additional to add, and I think Ryan covered it. And we've spent an extensive amount of time with PRF and their team, and look forward to proceeding with this.
Wonderful. Thank you. PRF wishing to speak at all? Or anyone for that matter? And do we have any questions from the commission members? With that, we'll take that 1 minute pause for citizens' comments.
I've started timing. We're good.
Thank you, Ryan.
And we have no public comment on this item.
Thank you, Zach.
All right, when I call your name, please signify your vote with approve or deny. Jackson Bogan.
Approve.
Barry Leverance.
Approve.
Ron Winger.
Approve.
Gary Schroeder.
Approve.
Jerry Reynolds.
Approved.
Craig Jones.
Approve.
Jake Gray.
Approve.
Diana Looper.
Approve.
Michelle Dennis.
Approve.
Tom Murtaugh.
Approve.
Harry Brown.
Approve.
Tracy Brown.
Approve.
Carl Griffin.
Approve.
Lisa Dellum.
Approve.
Kathy Parker.
Approve.
Carlos Snodgrass.
Approve.
16 votes in favor. Please get your ballots to Revita.
Revita, how we coming?
I'm missing one. Oh, it came in. We have, I've received written ballots from each of the members who voted and confirm the roll call vote of 16 to approve, 0 to deny.
Wonderful. Thank you. On to subdivisions.
I move to hear and vote on S 4938, Moulter 2 subdivision minor sketch.
I second.
Kathy?
Okay, petitioner's property is located here on the north side of County Road 950 South and also east of 350 East. It is zoned agricultural wooded. The portion that's down here on 950 will be 3 lots, and then 1 lot would be just south of Concord Cemetery on 350 East. There are significant changes in topography here. There's a couple of unnamed tributaries that sort of cut through here. Not sure. You can kind of see it here. And then there's another one over here. Town of Concord is about a mile to the north, and Stockwell is 3 to 4 miles to the east. It's a 77-acre parent tract. This is the first division from that parent tract, and it will use up all of the division rights. According to the County Highway Department, proposed driveway locations will need to meet site distance requirements. So there is a condition because of that at County Highway's request. We do have a letter of approval from the Health Department. Setbacks shown are more than required. Here's a look at the sketch plan. It's kind of hard to see, but the setback here is more than the 6 foot that's required. And the setback here is much greater than what would be required. That is because of these little unnamed tributaries that cut through there. They're not in the floodplain, but so instead of requiring elevation work and a floodplain certification, we just made the building setbacks wider, basically. So there are 5 conditions of approval. 4 of them are standard. 5 is the condition that the County Highway Department is requiring or requesting. That calculations to certify that there are safe drive locations possible for lots 2, 3, and 4 to the satisfaction of the County Highway Department. So other than that, staff is recommending conditional primary approval.
Thank you, Kathy. Does petitioner or petitioner's representative wish to speak?
Good evening. This is Bob Gross from RW Gross and Associates, 420 Columbia Street. All the conditions are fine, and we're requesting approval.
Thank you, Mr. Gross. Do we have any questions from the commission members or comments?
We have citizen comment here in the room.
Okay, thank you for that reminder, Sally. Let's go ahead and with citizens' comments, please.
Yes, I'm Janet Stone. I live at 3738 East, 950 South, Lafayette, Indiana, 47909. And I'm here on behalf of myself and other residents around the area as to what Mike Moulter's intentions are. Is he wanting to split up these lots for estate planning as he has told us? Or does he want to make it residential? If so, there's a lot of people that are opposed to the residential part of it. We're just wanting to know what his intentions are. We would like to keep it countryside, quiet like it has been for years.
Thank you, Ms. Stone. The actual, our job here tonight, Zach, do you mind jumping in and explaining what our task at hand here is?
Sure. The only thing that the commission is voting on tonight is whether or not this subdivision request complies with the rules of our ordinance. And the commission has been informed by staff that it does comply, and that's really all they can hear tonight and all they can make a decision on.
I guess, could you explain to me what subdivision is? Is it just breaking up lots, or is it for a reason? Or I guess I don't. Would it remain agricultural?
So this
right
is
now the zone's not.
Go ahead, Zach.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just.
I'm going to stop.
This is a 4-lot minor subdivision. He could not further divide this land unless it were in 10-acre tracts. It would be for 4 houses. Typically, is what we would see is a house on each of these lots.
But then beyond that, unless there were 10-acre tracts, there could be no additional houses built. Only
Correct.
one on each of these 4 lots.
Is there time for petition if that was his intention for residential? To oppose it? If that's his intentions. Which I guess that's what everybody's wanting to know.
Well, here again, I think our job is to make sure that it complies with the rules and requirements of this. And
Okay.
the actual use, I think, would need to be directed towards Mr. Moulter.
I think the subject of permitted use should be presented by staff.
Okay.
Not necessarily the whole list, but I mean, just simply said that if it's a permitted
Yeah.
use, there's no decision to be made by this commission.
Right. So it is zoned AW. There's not a lot of uses permitted by right in that zone. Houses are permitted. Some residential or agricultural type uses would be permitted, but is there something you're worried about that he would put here?
Yes, houses. We don't want houses.
Oh,
We want
okay.
it to be, you know, agricultural, countryside, you know, woods.
And I think it would be his right, correct me if I'm wrong here, Kathy, but it would be his right, or the owner of this land's right, to build 4 separate houses on 4 separate lots. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Does that
That
help
are
clarify?
agricultural.
I'm sorry?
That is already zoned agricultural.
Yes, it is agricultural wooded.
But homes are permitted on agricultural land.
Oh.
Just like a farmhouse is permitted at a farm.
Right. Okay, so I guess I just have to ask Mike Moulter what his intentions are. The neighbors need to ask him this is what you're telling me. You can't give me a definite answer on what he wants to do.
That is correct, ma'am.
Right.
And it's not
Our
that we don't
best
want to.
assumption is that he's interested in one house on each of these 4 lots.
Right. That's what he's interested in.
That's our assumption of
Okay.
what he's interested in.
Okay.
Unless the surveyor, Bob Gross, are you still here? Are you aware of what his plans
Well,
are?
clearly it's for residential development on these 4 lots.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what they're divided for.
Right.
Right.
Okay, well, then he's told everybody different. He hasn't been truthful with anybody.
Hmm.
So as of right now, we're only voting this. He could only do 4 houses, right? Like he can't do anything more than 4 houses.
Correct. The rest, this is a 77-acre tract. So these 4 divisions smaller than 10 acres is the most he could get out of that parent tract. So he could divide the rest into 10-acre increments, 10-acre tracts if he wanted to, but that would be it.
Even with all the what do I want to say, waterways and the high power lines in through there, and I mean there's a creek through there. I mean there's a lot of things there, I guess, unless he does more so on 350 where it's pretty much all open. But on 950 I personally see, I don't know how you could get houses there with the way it's.
Mm-hmm.
And Ms. Stone, that is actually not before us today. He would have to come back for if that were decided later on.
Okay. So he would have to come back if he wants residential, is what you're saying?
No, he would have the right to build 4 homes on these 4 separate lots.
Okay.
If he wanted to subdivide it even further, he would be able to build a home on 10 acres per 10 acres.
Right.
But the issue of drainage and the waterways has to be approved by either the county surveyor, or the county surveyor has to say this needs to go to the drainage board.
Are there, does that help clarify, Ms. Stone?
Yes, a little bit.
Okay. And if you have any further questions, I'm sure staff would be more than happy to discuss this with you after the fact.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments?
Not really. I guess we're just worried what he's going to do with it, and if he wants to do a residential, we've got a lot of people opposed.
Okay. Thank you. Ryan, do we have any other comments or questions?
We have no comments on social media.
Okay. With that, we will go ahead and we'll take that vote, Zach.
Sorry about that. I was on mute. When I call your name, please signify your vote with approve or deny. Jackson Bogan.
Approve.
Larry Leveretts.
Approve.
Ron Winger.
Approve.
Gary Schroeder.
Approve.
Jerry Reynolds.
Approved.
Greg Jones.
Approve.
Jake Gray.
Approve.
Diana Looper.
Approve.
Michelle Dennis.
Approve.
Tom Murtaugh.
Approve.
Harry Brown.
Conditional approval.
Tracy Brown.
Approve.
Carl Griffin.
Approve.
Lisa Dellum.
Approve.
Kathy Parker.
Approve.
Carla Snodgrass.
Approve.
16 votes in favor. Please get your ballots to Rabita.
Thank you.
I've received 16 votes, but one voted to approve instead of conditional approve. Let me take a look who that is. It may take me some time.
That was me. Do you want me to redo?
We can.
Yes, please.
We can move on.
Okay. Thank you, Rabita. On to S4939, and Kathy, if you would update that, please. On to S4939.
I move to hear and vote on S4939, Newton Farm Subdivision minor sketch.
I second.
Okay. Okay. Petitioner's property is located on the west side of County Road 225 West. It is zoned agricultural, as is all surrounding property. There's some floodplain associated with Indian Creek to the west. This is an 18-acre parent tract. it's going to leave a 12-acre remainder behind. Here's a look at the aerial photograph. You can see there is an existing driveway. They will be using that driveway for the subdivision. Here's a closer look. And here's a look at the sketch plan. You can see that 2 of the lots are your standard minor subdivision lots, and 2 of them are flag lots. County Highway is requiring a no vehicular access statement along the frontage on 225 West, except for the location of the driveway. So all of the lots will be using that drive. We have a letter of approval from the County Health Department. And lot widths and lot areas meet our zoning ordinance standards. And there are 6 conditions of approval, all of them standard. We are recommending conditional primary approval.
Thank you, Kathy. Petitioner's representative wish to comment?
Yes, good evening. Again, Bob Gross, RW Gross and Associates. And Sam is here as well online. All the conditions are fine. We look forward to your approval.
Thank you, Mr. Gross. Do we have any comments from the commission? Questions? Any citizens' comments? And if you'd start the clock, Sally.
I am doing that, yes. Time is up.
Thank you, Ryan.
No comment on this item.
Zach, would you please?
All right, when I call your name, please signify your vote with approve or deny. Jackson Bogan.
Approve.
Larry Leverance.
Approve.
Roland Winger.
Approve.
Gary Schroeder.
Approve.
Jerry Reynolds.
Approve.
Greg Jones.
Approve.
Jake Gray.
Approve.
Diana Looper.
Approve.
Michelle Dennis.
Approve.
Tom Murtaugh.
Approve.
Harry Brown.
Approve.
Tracy Brown.
Approved.
Carl Griffin.
Approve.
Lisa Dellum.
Approve.
Kathy Parker.
Approve.
Carla Snodgrass.
Approve.
16 votes in favor. Please get your ballots to Ravita. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ravita?
Waiting on one.
We might need you to tell us who that might be.
Got it. I
Perfect.
received written ballots from each of the members who voted and confirm the roll call vote of 16 to approve, 0 to deny.
Thank you, Ravita. S4942.
Thanks, everybody.
I move to hear and vote on S4942, Cumberland Crossing Subdivision Major Preliminary.
I second.
Back to you, Kathy.
Okay. Petitioner's property is located here on the southeast corner of Cumberland Avenue and US 231. It is zoned neighborhood business. This is a 2-lot major subdivision on 20 acres. This area here, Lot 1, already has a self-storage warehouse business that received a special exception in March of 2019. Here's a look at the aerial photograph and a closer look. This existing driveway will be used by both the warehouse, self-storage warehouse, and the future business located on Lot 2. There will be a no vehicular access statement platted along the frontage of Cumberland, except for this location where the driveway is. And of course, 231 is limited access right of way. Sanitary sewer is available along the east side of the site. Water service is located along the south side of Cumberland. Petitioner has requested permission to bond. There are 15 conditions of approval, and we are recommending conditional primary approval.
Thank you, Kathy. Petitioner's representative.
Thank you. Dan Teeter, attorney with Riley, Teeter and Schreier, represent the petitioner. Cameron Seymour with Snyder Engineering is also present to answer any questions. As staff's indicated, we're requesting conditional primary approval. We concur with staff's report, staff's recommendation. We agree with all staff's conditions as well, and would request permission to bond. Again, we're going to ask for your approval and be happy to respond to any comments or questions that you might have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Teeter. Any questions from the commission? Comments? Any citizens' comments? And or Sally, if you would, please.
Time has started. And time is up.
Thank you, Ryan.
No comment on this item.
Zach?
Okay, and on this one, folks, because there was a request to bond, I'm just gonna, when I call your name, if your vote is yes on both the subdivision and bond, I'll just take that as a single approve. If for some reason you want to vote differently on the bonding issue, just let me know when I call your name. So when I call your name, vote with approve or deny. Jackson Bogan.
Approve.
Larry Leverins.
Approve.
Roland Winger.
Approve.
Gary Schroeder.
Approve.
Jerry Reynolds.
Approved.
Greg Jones.
Approve.
Jake Gray.
Approve.
Diana Looper.
Approve.
Michelle Dennis,
Approve.
Tom Murtaugh,
Approve.
Perry Brown, I'm sorry, Perry, I think you're on mute. I didn't hear you.
Approved.
There we go. Thank you, sir. Tracy Brown,
Approved.
Carl Griffin,
Approve.
Lisa Dellum,
Approve.
Kathy Parker,
Approve.
Carla Snodgrass.
Approve.
16 votes in favor of the subdivision, 16 votes permitting bonding. Please get your ballots to Rabita.
Rabita?
I'm still waiting on Lisa. Got it.
Thank you
16 to
much.
approve, 0 to deny.
Thank you. S4943.
I move to hear and vote on S4943, JSD Estate Phase 2, Major Preliminary.
I second.
Kathy?
Okay. Petitioner's property is located on the east side of Poland Hill Road, south of Twickenham Boulevard. It is zoned R3, multifamily. You can see based on the zoning map, it's really an area composed of single-family subdivisions and multifamily apartments. Here's a look at the aerial photograph. You can see it's currently 3, actually 2 lots, and then some unplatted land. This replat will combine it all into a single 6-acre tract or lot. Here's a look at the preliminary plat. So except for the new entrance, which is opposite Kincaid Drive, there will be a no vehicular access statement along the frontage of Poland Hill. Existing private sanitary sewer and water mains will be extended into this phase. There are a total of 146 proposed units, consisting of 80 one-bedroom units and 66 two-bedroom units. That requires 236 parking spaces, which they have. Petitioner is requesting permission to bond. There are 8 conditions, and we are recommending conditional primary approval.
Thank you, Kathy. Petitioner's representative. Wishing to speak on this? If someone's speaking on this, your mic might be muted or microphone might be muted.
Kyle Betts? I thought I saw your name earlier.
I think we see you now, but we cannot hear you. Let's give it a minute for Kyle to maybe reconnect. Hearing none. Zach, I believe we have a petitioner wanting to speak and need your help here. But it's having some technology challenges, I believe. I can see you now. If Kyle, can you hear me?
Hello?
Hey, there you are.
All right. I'm not sure what's up with the computer. I apologize for the delay, everyone. Kyle Betts with Fisher Engineering, 625 South Earl. I am representing the petitioner, Brian Keene, in this project. We agree with all of staff's comments. I think the report summarizes everything that is planned for this site. We have no objections to the conditional conditions put on this project and request that you approve everything as noted. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we'll move on to any questions, comments from the commission members. And citizens' comments. And Sally, if you would, please.
I'm ready to time. One minute has passed.
Brian?
We have no public comment on this item.
Zach?
All right, same thing as last time, so I'll be calling for a vote on both the approval of subdivision and the bonding. If you want to change your vote on the bonding, just let me know. When I call your name, please signify your vote with approve or deny. Jackson Bogan.
Approve.
Barry Leverance.
Approve.
Roland Winger.
Approve.
Gary Schroeder.
Approve.
Jerry Reynolds.
Approve.
Greg Jones.
Approve.
Jake Gray.
Approve.
Diana Looper.
Approve.
Michelle Dennis.
Approve.
Tom Murtaugh.
Approve.
Perry Brown.
Approve.
Tracy Brown.
Approve.
Carl Griffin.
Approve.
Lisa Dellum.
Approve.
Kathy Parker.
Approve.
Carlos Snodgrass.
Approve.
16 votes in favor of the subdivision and to allow bonding. Please get your ballots to Rabita.
Thank you very much.
I have 16 written ballots to approve and 0 to deny the request.
Thank you, Rabita. S4944.
I move to hear and vote on S 4944, Paramount Shores Subdivision, Major Preliminary.
I second.
Sally?
Yes. Outlined in red, you'll see the property for this subdivision. It's just north of Sagamore Parkway and not too far west of Morehouse Road. It is within the Paramount Shores subdivision development. It's zoned R3 To the south is general business. There's been some subdivision activity here lately. And in the general business zoned property just across Genoa Drive is the commercial development. I think it's called Marketplace. So what's being requested is a one lot multifamily subdivision. It would have 48 units and 3 buildings on 2.22 acres. On the plat, you'll be able to see the 3 buildings that they're proposing. There are a total of 24 one-bedroom units and 24 two-bedroom units. The building to the on the north side on the west is a building that will contain 8 one-bedroom and 8 two-bedroom. The next building to the east will contain all 2-bedroom units, and the perpendicular building closest to Genoa Drive is all 1-bedroom units. The site is already served by American Suburban Sewer and Indiana American Water. They'll be able to use laterals to tap the existing mains. On-site stormwater will go to the storm sewer in Genoa Drive and then to the large detention basin, which is sort of part of the Cuppy-McClure regulated drain system. They are requesting permission to bond. There may actually not be any improvements required, but I think this is a just in case. And then staff is recommending conditional primary approval with 9 standard conditions.
Thank you, Sally. Petitioner's representative. Here again, if someone's trying to speak on this.
Yeah, Tim, we can't. We're not getting the volume. I can see you talking and you're not on mute, but we can't hear you.
Tim, can you hear us? Do you agree with staff's report? That's an A-OK. Is that sufficient for you, Tim? There we go. We're learning on the fly. So with that, are there any comments, questions from the commission members? Any citizens' comments? And Sally, if you'd start the clock.
Will do. Minute has passed.
Ryan?
No comment on this item.
Zach, would you please?
All right, same thing as the last few. I will call the vote for both the bonding and the subdivision, so let me know if you are not voting approve on both. Jackson Bogan.
Approve.
Larry Leverance.
Approve.
Roland Winger.
Approve.
Gary Schroeder.
Approve.
Jerry Reynolds.
Approved.
Greg Jones.
Approve.
Jake Gray.
Approve.
Diana Looper.
Approve.
Michelle Dennis.
Approve.
Tom Murtaugh.
Approve.
Harry Brown.
Approve.
Tracy Brown.
Approved.
Carl Griffin.
Approve.
Lisa Dellum.
Approve.
Kathy Parker.
Approve.
Carla Snodgrass.
Approve.
16 votes in favor of the subdivision, 16 votes to permit bonding. Please give your ballots to Rabita.
Rabita?
Waiting on Diana.
While we're waiting on that, can you read the 15?
Yes. 15 to approve, 0 to deny both subdivision request and bonding.
All right, we'll wait and tidy that one up.
I got the 16th too. It's the same.
Perfect. Thank you. On to rezoning activities, Z2798.
I move to hear and approve Z 2798, West Lafayette Public Library Leasing Corporation, Anastasia Kurtulis, West Lafayette Public Library PD, PDNR to PDNR.
I second.
Ryan?
Okay, well, we've got a proposed expansion of the Westside Public Library. The original project that's in the ground today consists of these two areas highlighted in yellow. That was from 2003. That was also via plan development. This particular petition, and go to the next slide, so maybe we can zoom in a little closer. I think the next one might be a little closer there. There we go. This petition is not touching the 139 space parking garage. There are no proposed changes for that facility. The only change is that we're actually proposing a lot for that, lot 2. It was not platted in the original PD, and but yet permits were granted, so there was a little staff error there. So this PD will fix that. We will formally plat the garage's lot, but there are no changes proposed to the garage itself. The library is going to be doing a 2-story expansion to the west. They are not expanding the existing basement, so this is not a kind of 3-level footprint expansion, just 2, just the ground and second floor. Essentially to expand their services, and you can leave it on that slide there. You can see the finished concept. They're reorienting their entrance to Northwestern Avenue, and just because of its significance and its higher traffic, both pedestrian and vehicular, and trying to just create a more unified look for the entire project. Staff spent a lot of time with them on this to make sure this look is right. We think that it literally builds onto what was already there, and there's a certain harmony amongst the materials and the colors, etc., as well as kind of, in my opinion, kind of accentuating the contemporary look a little bit. But at the same time, it does blend into its historic context of the village. There aren't any historic buildings on this block per se, but there are some across the street and in the nearby vicinity. And I think in their material choices and colors, they're providing something that's clearly modern, but also respects the kind of historic aesthetic of the Chauncey Village. So staff's opinion, this project adds tremendous value to West Lafayette's downtown. Public library right in the heart of the action is an incredible civic use, and we're delighted that West Lafayette Library is investing in their site here as opposed to relocating out of the downtown. And so this is a very exciting project for the city, for the library, for the whole community, really. It certainly conforms with the West Lafayette downtown plan, which contemplated a very vibrant mix of uses in this area. A library is a perfect fit for this expansion. So we are recommending conditional approval. The conditions are fairly general or fairly standard for plan developments. Nothing kind of out of the ordinary there. So be happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, I know the library's team is available to answer any questions as well. And we also have one letter in opposition when you're ready for it.
Thank you, Ryan. Petitioner's representative want to speak?
Hi, everybody. Tyler Oaks, Paul Eggleston on behalf of the library. I just want to kind of reiterate everything that Ryan said. I thought he said it much more elegantly than I would. I want to thank everybody on behalf of the library, at all of staff, and then our engineering group at Schneider, as well as the architect, Stuart Godfrey, for doing such a wonderful job, as Ryan said, blending this into the community. We have Katie Bieram, who's from Schneider, who would be happy to answer any questions today, as well as Nick, who's the library director. Construction is supposed to start, I think, spring 2021. Everybody's really excited, and I think this is going to be a really, really good addition to the area. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. And
we have staff's conditions. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. Thank you very much. I know Nick had shared a video with all of us, and that was extremely helpful. Thank you for sharing that, Nick. Do we have any questions from the commission members?
I have a question. This is Carl Griffin. So on the pictures that we have there is the transformer screen and signage. I'm assuming that's at the northwest corner of the expanded building, and is that on the alley then? That basically that northern wall that we see there.
That's correct. That's the northwest corner of the site. It has frontage on the public alley, and then the sign, the library sign, is on Northwestern Avenue and is obscuring the view of that transformer area.
Thanks for clarifying.
Do we have any other questions? Do we have anyone wishing to speak in favor of this petition? And at first we'll take, do we have anyone wishing to speak in opposition of this? And I know we do have one letter that needs to be read, and it is in opposition, correct?
That's right.
Go ahead and read that, please.
Okay, this letter is from Mr. Dennis Dunn of 1325 Palmer Drive, West Lafayette. Modifications and additions to the West Lafayette Library. The current proposal is to increase size of the West Side Library to do the following items. And there's a list of bullet points: remodel existing building, a larger children's area, expand teen area, more private study rooms, more meeting and program rooms, maybe less as the use of Zoom grows, well-designed local history department, and large storage and basement for book storage and sorting. Estimated cost of $17 million and a 20-year commitment. An alternative solution that costs less, places the library services closer to the growing population and less invasive of the current location community. The model I suggest is the Tippecanoe County Library model by adding satellite libraries: Klondike to the west, Wyandotte to the east, Weah Prairie to the south. For example, I suggest north of Fire Station number 3 and south of Harrison High School. Weah cost $5.3 million at 14,500 square feet. City West Lafayette has increased its boundaries to the north, and houses built in the area will be filled with families and children. Bringing children from the northern part of the city to a congested, densely populated area seems unwise and not in the interest of families. As a suggested action plan, update the current physical facility of the West Lafayette Library without any addition to the building. One estimate by the architect is a bit over $1 to $2 million. The relocation of space will enable the facility to meet current needs. Work with West Lafayette City Government to build a satellite library within the northern city limits of West Lafayette, and to discontinue the plan to expand storage. I ask that you do not approve the request to modify the West Lafayette Library. That's it.
Thank you, Ryan. Petitioner, would you like rebuttal?
Yeah, thank you.
I can appreciate the comments by the opposition. However, as Ryan kind of already stated, we think this is only going to be a positive addition to the downtown West Lafayette area. The library has roots there, and I think it's just going to be great for the area as it blends in. In terms of families being on the north side that have been expanded, they do have the parking garage across the street that offers plenty of space. They have a deal with the Morton lot as well for spillover parking if parking really becomes an issue. So the garage and the lot really can accommodate parents and families that are trying to come to the library. But we just think it really blends well with the area, and it would be a fantastic addition.
Thank you, Mr. Oakes. With that, do we have any final questions from commission members? Hearing none. Ryan, do we have any comments from social media?
We have none on this item.
Zach, would you please call for the vote?
All right, when I call your name, please signify your vote with approve or deny. Jackson Bogan.
Approve.
Larry Leverance.
Approve.
Roland Winger.
Approve.
Gary Schroeder.
Approve.
Jerry Reynolds.
Approve.
Greg Jones.
Approve.
Jake Gray.
Deny.
Diana Looper.
Approve.
Michelle Dennis.
Approve.
Tom Murtaugh.
Approve.
Perry Brown.
Approve.
Tracy Brown.
Approve.
Carl Griffin.
Approve.
Lisa Dellum.
Approve.
Kathy Parker.
Approve.
Carla Snodgrass.
Approve.
15 votes in favor, 1 vote against to recommend approval of that PD rezone. Please get your ballots to Rebecca. Thank you.
$15 to approve, 1 to deny the request.
Thank you, Rebecca. On to Z2806, new development.
I move to hear and approve Z2806, Tippecanoe Development LLC, A to R1.
I second.
Kathy?
Okay, petitioner's property is located on the west side of County Road 75 East. It is 16.77 acres, currently zoned agricultural. You can see there is R1 zoning to the east, to the north, and to the west. Winding Creek subdivisions over further to the west with Coyote Crossing Golf Course. There's a rural estate further to the east. The West Lafayette corporate boundary line is just, I think, under half a mile to the south of this property. This rezone would be the second section for Oak Ridge Subdivision. So Oak Ridge Subdivision Section 1 is right here adjacent to the north. This would be Section 2 and would have approximately 38 lots. Here's a look at the aerial photograph and a closer look. And this is the conceptual layout. It's a non-binding site plan. So you can see, I think in my staff report, I said that there would be no new access onto County Road 75 East. What I meant to say was no new street access, that this section of Oak Ridge would gain its access from existing streets that surround it, and not directly from County Road 75 East, although I noticed 6 lots would directly access County Road 75 East. But again, this is just a conceptual site plan. So this rezone will allow the expansion of the adjacent single-family subdivision. There is access to sanitary sewer and water utilities, and with the West Lafayette corporate boundary less than half a mile to the south, this is a logical place for residential expansion. And staff is recommending approval.
Thank you. Petitioner's representative.
Yes, thank you. Again, Dan Teeter, attorney with Riley, Teeter and Schreier, I represent the petitioner. As staff's indicated to us, we're requesting rezone for R1 for the 16-acre tract to complete Oak Ridge subdivision. The site's just east of Winding Creek in the Coyote Golf Course as well. We have water and sewer available to the site. This existing subdivision was started in 2017 for 104 single-family lots. At this time, we only have 18 remaining unsold lots in that subdivision. The reason we're ready to start section 2. This will allow my client then, as staff said as well, to add an additional 38 lots to this subdivision. All lots in this existing and in the proposed are approximately 80 feet wide lots by 165 to 175 foot deep. These all exceed the R1 standard, which is 75-foot wide lots with 10,000 square feet of lot area. So as a result, we concur with staff's report, staff's recommendation, and we would respond to any comments or questions that you might have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Teeter. Any questions from the commission members?
Yes, I have one question. Dan, I know the drawing's only conceptual, but would it be likely that there would be those 6 lots that would actually would use County Road 75?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
There any other questions? Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of this petition? How about opposed? And we'll wait that 1 minute for citizens' comments.
Clock is ticking.
Thank you.
Time is up.
Brian?
No public comment on this item.
Zach?
All right, when I call your name, approve or deny. Jackson Bogan.
Approve.
Larry Leverins.
Approve.
Roland Winger.
Approve.
Gary Schroeder.
Approve.
Gary Rentz.
Approve.
Greg Jones.
Approve.
Jake Gray.
Approve.
Diana Looper.
Approve.
Michelle Dennis.
Approve.
Tom Murtaugh.
Approve.
Perry Brown.
Approve.
Tracy Brown.
Approve.
Carl Griffin.
Approve.
Lisa Dellum.
Approve.
Kathy Parker.
Approve.
Carla Snodgrass.
Approve.
16 votes in favor of recommending approval. Please get your ballots to Revita. And as we're filling those out, I would know that I believe the commissioners meeting scheduled for November 2nd is going to be held at 2 p.m. instead of its normal time at 11 a.m. Tom, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that.
That is correct. It will be held at 2 p.m. instead of the normal time of 10 a.m.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your votes.
I've received written ballots.
Thank you, Ravita.
16 to approve, 0 to deny.
Thank you. Z2809.
I move to hear and approve Z 2809, Purdue Research Foundation, GB, NB, OR, PDMX, and PDNR to CBW.
I second.
Ryan?
Okay, sir. Well, what we've got is the second part of this two-part development for Discovery Park. This is going to be concerning the uses and the development that will have to abide by the form-based overlay that you just approved. So here we have the legal description of the area that would be impacted, in terms of rezoning to CBW. In our discussions with PRF, we selected the CBW zone because it is the central business zone. It is a mixed use zone. It's an urban zone. And there were a host of uses that PRF was already interested in that were contained in that zone. We did expand that with the ordinance amendment you passed to add these additional commercial uses, even limited hospital uses, and some other things to really provide quite a suite of potential development opportunities. So as you can see, the planned developments are what is left out of this: Aspire, Continuum, and Convergence. They will continue to operate under their existing zones. But this really will allow PRF, now that the form-based code is, once it's formally adopted by the city, the vast menu of uses allowed by the CBW zone will be at their disposal. But the development will have to take the form prescribed by the code. So that's kind of how the two work together. So this really completes the package. So I'll be happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, we are recommending approval of Z2809.
Thank you, Ryan. Petitioner's representative.
Yes, hello, I'm Marianne Owen from the law firm of Stewart and Brannigan, and I'm here on behalf of Purdue Research Foundation to request your positive recommendation to the West Lafayette Common Council for the rezoning of this Discovery Park District overlay area that's just west of the Purdue campus. I'm asking for this rezone from general business, or GB, neighborhood business, NB, office research, or OB, PDMX, PDNR, and zoning districts to central business West Lafayette, or CBW. Joining me tonight is Rich Michael, Vice President, Chief Facilities Officer of PRF, along with other representatives involved in this project who are all here to respond to any questions you may have about the planned development. And now, honestly, I've got to say, this request works with the amendment you've already heard this evening, and what the staff has had to say in its staff report and what Ryan has just said really covers everything I might say. So I'll try to keep myself relatively brief to try to also keep with Jackson's concern for this to be kept short. So this request comes after a careful review of the zoning ordinance as we've worked to create the overlay. And in that work, the group determined that the plans for the district fit really well in the CBW district as the underlying zoning district instead of the existing multiple zones. The group found that the overlays development guidelines set the standards for a high quality facilities and improvements in the district, while the CBW permits a breadth of uses for the private industry, commercial uses, retail, and dwellings by right and special exception, which are setting the stage for what is sure to be a world-class research and development park in West Lafayette. And to give you a sense, we keep talking about multiple uses. I'd like to give you a sense of what we might be talking about and what makes this particular property really a place where you live, work, and play. This is a place where a person can wake up, walk out of their row house, wander down the street to go to their classes or to their office, which may be in an urban pilot manufacturing facility, possibly a hospital. Then they can stop by a restaurant that happens to have some specialty food production facility items or some urban agriculture. The other place that you might find me or some others would be a place where a beverage might be served using some micro-produced alcohol. But all of these uses fit in the CBW district by right and with the changes that you've made just this evening. So if we still retained the current zones, a lot more uses would need to be adjusted. And in this instance, you had a very short list. And that played into why the group made the call and recommendation for us to be pursuing this CBW zone. So pretty simply, PRF's bringing you this request to facilitate the use of the Discovery Park as a high-quality research and development park that features a wide assortment of unique uses that are allowed by right and by special exception in just one zoning district, CBW. We respectfully request your recommendation for approval of this request.
Thank you very much. With that, do we have any questions or comments from the commission members? Do we have anyone wishing to speak in favor of this rezone? Anyone opposed wishing to speak? And we'll wait for 1 minute as well for public comment.
Time has started.
And while we wait, because I know you're all anxiously awaiting on the over and under bet, I wasn't even close, but truth be told, I did not set the amount of time. But I am right now. I am over by 41 minutes. So I don't think I was given a fair shake to begin with, truth be told. But we'll live to see another day.
A minute's passed.
Thanks, Sally. Any comments, Ryan?
Nothing from social media. I did get a chat comment from Aaron Easter, the development director for West Lafayette, said they are supportive.
Excellent. Thank you. With that, Zach, if you would, please.
All right, approve or deny when I call your name. Jackson Bogan.
Approve.
Larry Leverins.
Approve.
Roland Winger.
Approve.
Gary Schroeder.
Approve.
Gary Reynolds.
Approve.
Greg Jones.
Approve.
Jake Gray.
Approve.
Diana Luber.
Approve.
Michelle Dennis.
Approve.
Tom Murtaugh.
Approve.
Harry Brown.
Approve.
Tracy Brown.
Approved.
Carl Griffin.
Approve.
Lisa Dellum.
Approve.
Kathy Parker.
Approve.
Carla Snodgrass.
Approve.
16 votes in favor of recommending approval. Please get your ballots to Ravita. Thank you.
Thank you.
Waiting on the last one.
And as we wait, Mr. President, would you mind having Gary throw us a motion to continue those two cases on the first page too when we get through this Z2807 and Z2808 to the November 18th meeting?
Didn't I?
It was done.
We already did that, Zach.
Did we have a motion on it? I thought we skipped it.
No, he did it at the beginning of the public hearing portion.
Yep.
Okay.
Rebeta, are we still waiting on one? Do we have 15 in favor?
Yes, we do.
That we'll clean that up after the fact.
That works.
Perfect. Thank you. If you could chat somebody and let them know, whoever it might be. On to administrative matters, which we have none, and the approval of the November Executive Committee agenda.
I move that the following requests for subdivision be placed on the November 4th, 2020 Area Plan Commission Executive Committee agenda at petitioner's request. Placement thereon being without reference to compliance or non-compliance of the adopted subdivision ordinance. RE 0076 Abingdon Subdivision Rural Estate Preliminary Plat. S 4947 Hardin Subdivision, a replat of Lot 1 minor sketch. S 4950 Bridge Creek Ridge Subdivision minor sketch. S 4953 Global Properties 3 minor subdivision minor sketch, and S 4955 Sand Hill minor subdivision minor sketch.
I second.
We have a motion, a second. All in favor? Aye.
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 All opposed? That motion carries. We have no new determination of variances, so on to the director's report. Sally?
Yes, before I say a little thing, I'd like to ask Ryan to come up to the meeting room because Meredith Hackler is here from TV 18, and my guess is she'll want to interview regarding the Purdue rezone. I just got a thumbs up. So Ryan, if you could come up and take care of that after the meeting.
Not a problem.
The only thing I wanted to say is I gave you, in addition to the normal monthly activities of staff, I gave you a sort of a thumbnail review of what's been going on with Mercer Group, the Executive Search Committee, but I would like to give Roland an opportunity to add more detail if he would like to do that.
Thank you, Sally. Yes, we're making progress, and to each of you that has spoken to Jim or Carolyn Mercer, we appreciate the feedback that you've given them. If you have not yet talked to them and would like to share your thoughts, they have basically about a 10-minute set of questions they're polling commission members on regarding our vision for the future and the future of the position of executive director. They have also spoken, as Sally's indicated, with others in the community and are continuing that work. So we're on schedule as of now. The job looks like will be posted here hopefully within a week on national planning and transportation career boards, as well as their network of professionals across the country. We're hoping that we will have one tranche of applicants by this time, by our meeting in November, and we can provide updates there. So the process will really start to take up speed here. And I sincerely appreciate all of Sally's help in pulling a lot of information together to get to the Mercer Group. And I think things are going very well at this point.
Thank you to both of you for heading that up, an undertaking that I'm sure is quite large. With that, we will move on to citizens' comments and grievances. And Ryan, start that 1-minute clock, and I think Mr. Winger wants to sing us a song.